Hi friends, thank you so much for the wonderful response for the Jugalbandi series episode 1. So Tarun sir and I are extremely happy. There are so many student feedback saying that it was really good, and my goodness, I've been flooded by messages about new topics that you have given. Thank you so much for making it a stupendous success. I am elated and so is Tarun sir. Hi Tarun sir, what's up?
Yes, sir. I'm very good, and thank you guys for really supporting us. And Punarvas, sir, I'm really very much happy that the first episode went amazingly good. And my God, the feedback, the number of views, it was crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
And I never thought that it will become super hit. And really, thanks to you, sir. Thanks for accepting this.
Sir, no sir, thanks to you. It was an association, that's how it works. We are gonna do much more sir going forward. Let's do it. And students have in fact
Yes, sir.
given so
And-
many
and you
things
know-
actually. So many things they have asked us to do and we'll do it sir for sure.
Yes, sir. Even from my side also, many students have asked me like, they gave suggestions like, no, why can't you do on DTIDT, FR law? My goodness, that we never thought that we need to do all these things, but they gave us many suggestions that we need to do all these things and all. And yes, sir, we are going to continue this Jugalbandi series, and immediately after completion with taxology, we will be continuing with other subjects too. So we are looking forward for that. And sir,
Yes sir.
and sir, today's episode, I want to bring up an issue before you.
Okay. Sir.
That is directors' remuneration, because there is a conflict as to whether directors' remuneration treated as salary or not treated as salary. Because I want to hear it from you from Companies Act perspective. What is the scenario of directors' remuneration over there?
Okay, fine. Great, sir. It's an amazing question. Sir, as far as the director is concerned, I think generally people have a notion about executive director, non-executive director, and things like that. Sir, but actually in the Companies Act 2013, or even for that matter in 1956, there was no definition only of executive director and non-executive director. Wherever the links of director, I'll tell you sir, from whatever I know in the Companies Act. First sir, in 2 clause 34, right, they define a director. So director means a director appointed in the company, that's it. How appointed, we'll come to it, but basically who is a director? Means. So as we all know sir, means is an exhaustive definition. So when I say director means a director, it's an exhaustive definition. Basically in the company has to be appointed as a director. That is point number 1. Then if we see the remuneration definition sir, 2 clause 78, it says remuneration means money or equivalent to money. Money equivalent given in cash or kind, including perquisites. And it also includes the perquisites as per the Income Tax Act. So that is the remuneration definition under 2 clause 78. Sir, but then later, if I see whether he is an employee or not an employee, I can generally, you will see that 2 clause 53, 2 clause 54 and 2 clause 94. 2 clause 53 of the definition clause talks about manager, 2 clause 54 about managing director, 2 clause 94 about whole-time director. The entire concept of executive and non-executive in the common parlance, colloquially when we are talking, so anybody who is employed full-time in the company will be called as executive, and anybody who is a professional director only comes 4 times a year for the board meetings, as you know, he will be called as a non-executive director. But sir, in 254, again managing director, it says managing director means a director. So technically he has to be a director first. But sir, there they give you that he can be appointed via the articles or an agreement or by a resolution. So basically the entire thing goes to 196(4) sir, where they have to be appointed properly through board meeting resolution, shareholders resolution and all that. And all the remuneration etc. will go through the entire mechanism of 197, schedule 5 and all those provisions which are there. But still it doesn't talk about whether they are executive, non-executive, salaried, non-salaried and all those things. The general understanding, but there is a small hint sir in 2 clause 53. If you see 2 clause 53, it says 2 clause 53 manager. Manager, means an individual, they say. And then whether appointed to the company, and then one line beautiful says, sir, whether by a contract of service or not. There is the catch, sir, contract of service or not. I'll come to that, but let's also see 2 clause 94, that is whole time director. Interestingly, sir, whole time director is an inclusive definition, right? So in whole time director, they say whole time director includes a director, but the word whole time predominantly means that whole time should be in the full time employment of the company. So one hint is there, sir, and the other hint is in 2 clause 53, which speaks about manager's definition. There, whether a contract of service or not means what? Either contract of service or contract for service. Contract of service means employment, contract for service means as a profession, right, where he is employed for the services in a business point of view, where, you know, for income tax point of view, your 194J will apply. Whereas here, contract of service, the salary will come into play. Sir, but the only place in the entire Companies Act where they say a director is not an employee, and obviously because of which salary cannot be paid, is 149(6), sir. 149(6) talks about independent director. So in the independent director, the entire norms, they have clearly mentioned that for an independent director should not be an employee. So basically whatever you give to him will definitely not be, and in the form of salary. So, but what about payment made to MD, whole-time director, manager, and normal directors are also there, na, sir? Those who are actually appointed as directors. So everything boils down to 197(4), sir. In 197(4) it says remuneration. See, as we all know, in company final accounts, sir, if you remember, we had learned that the managerial remuneration overall, as per 197(1), should be 11%. That is fine. But 197(4) says how it can be given, sir. So it can be given via an agreement or articles or the resolution. Now the entire crux of the matter, whether you are a salaried employee or not, boils down to the agreement, sir. If the agreement is, in my opinion, contract of service, then it will be salary. If the agreement is contract for service, then it will be business or profession. And sir, 197(4) also says that this entire remuneration includes money given in any other capacity. So any other capacity can be any other capacity other than what you are getting as managerial remuneration. But sir, if you are providing services, your professional services like CA, CS and all those things, professional capacity not covered. So there you can definitely take a hint that it all boils down to agreement. So in the agreement, if you are employed, then that salary component will come. If you are not employed, then another salary component will come. But overall, sir, it should be 11%. But it's a wonderful concept, sir, but I always knew little bit about income tax, your 194J, all that I know, tedious portion. Sir, but what I really is mind-boggling is, how is GST, very simple now, that salary or whatever services, that remuneration that you are getting now, should the directors, the GST, will it be applicable, sir? You need to throw some light. I have no clue about this, sir. Please, sir, tell me, sir.
Yes, sir. See, sir, actually, really amazing detailed explanation. So I understood lot of details now about from company's perspective. So how, first of all, the director is being classified, because sir, I was of the impression that executive, non-executive director is the classification what is there in Companies Act. But thanks that I got the clarity now that a director will never be classified as executive or non-executive director, yes, but it is based on whether an employee or not an employee. Yes. Thanks for that clarity. And now, whenever, sir, there is one section 7 subsection 2 of CGST Act read with Schedule 3, which says that whenever there is a person who is providing services and the capacity of an employee to the employer in the course of employment. So services provided by an employee to the employer in the course of employment is excluded from supply. Okay. So this is there in 7 subsection 2 read with Schedule 3. So which means that as an employee, if any person receives the money from the employer, then there is no GST. So maybe because already they are paying too much of income tax on salaries, so this exclusion is given under GST. But in one other place, that is notification number 13 2017 says that a person who receives the remuneration in the capacity of a director from a company or body corporate, then on that remuneration GST is payable by the company or or the body corporate. That's how the provision was. But these two are contradicting. Because on one side, if you treat the director as employee of the company, then first of all it is excluded from supply, then where from the liability to pay GST arises?
Correct.
Suppose if the director is not an employee of the company, then we get that he is not an employee. So whatever services that he renders to the company, on that services he gets a consideration. On that consideration, the company has to pay GST to government under reverse charge mechanism.
Okay.
So this particular issue of when he will become an employee or when he is not an employee is there in GST too. That's why I asked you, sir.
Excellent.
And now from your information, I am just linking that to my GST concepts. That is, here, sir, whenever there is a director, as you said, who is not an employee, which means the deciding factor there, as per your information, is contract of service and contract for service. So whenever the director enters into the contract with the with the company under contract of service, then he is like an employee.
Yes.
And whatever money that he receives from the company, that is excluded from supply. And if that is contract for service, whatever money that he receives from the company is covered under supply and is chargeable to GST. In that case, company will pay GST under reverse charge mechanism. Now, there is also a possibility that the same director can act in two capacities. Is it possible that, sir, can the director act in two capacities?
Yes, sir. I mean, in fact, director can act. In fact, good that you asked me, sir, because there was actually it was a question asked in one of the recent examinations. So whether a director can act as, a director as well as CEO, whether he can act as director as well as CFO. Sir, because CEO, CFO need not be directors. CEO and CFO are actually there as per 2 clause 51 of Companies Act as the key managerial personnel. But nowhere they have told there have to be directors. So can a director act as a director and CEO, director and CFO possible? There were many commentaries which I have read, sir, and there they have given a person donning 3 different hats. Like a director, CEO, CFO may not be possible, but definitely 2 hats is possible if he is competent enough. So that is possibility, sir. Sir, in that case, if I am getting salary as director also, and if I am getting salary as capacity of CFO also, how is the GST computed, sir, in that case?
Yes, sir. So as you said, like the director can act in 2 capacities. So now we need to make a separate contract. One for contract of service, one for contract for service. Okay. So now whatever money the director gets as contract of service is excluded from GST. There is no GST on that. But the same director enters into another contract with the company to act in the capacity as other than employee. Yes. For that, whatever remuneration they receive or sitting fees or etc., whatever they receive, on that the company has to pay GST. So that is taxable. Sir, this particular dispute was there for quite a long time, and one advance ruling was given in this concept stating that that all director remuneration is chargeable to GST. Like that, one advance ruling was given. So it boiled like anything. Many companies started recognizing the tax, recognizing the interest on that, and I got many queries stating that, sir, this advance ruling will be binding on me or not. But it is one general point, sir, which I am sharing with you. This will be definitely be useful somewhere. Advance ruling, once it is given, will be binding only on the applicant to whom it is issued, sir.
Okay.
So therefore, one company which sought the advance ruling with respect to this particular issue, it will be binding on that company only. Yes. But of course, the department may say that this is an advance ruling, so you pay GST like that. They can ask other companies. So many companies went to CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs, and finally they gave a circular stating that whenever the director is not an employee of the company, then whatever money that he receives is chargeable to GST. If he is an employee, then it is not chargeable to GST.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now, as it is possible that the same person can act in both the capacities, so accordingly that respective amount will get taxed or is excluded from supply. So
Excellent.
it will be different.
Excellent.
And thank God you rightly pointed out about 194 and 194J.
Yes, sir.
That is also one of the factor.
Yes, sir.
Good, sir, that we deviated from both our subjects and went into income tax,
That's the thing.
and we are like doing this discussion. So 194 and 194J is also amazing point of distinction, because whenever the salary is paid, 192 will
Yes.
come, correct, sir?
Yes,
192 will come,
192.
and whenever it is a remuneration kind of, that is for contract of service, so 194J will come. So good. So even I was under the impression 194 versus 194J. Now only I got a clarity from you, 192 versus 194J.
Yes, sir.
So therefore good that, so these even be connected with income tax also.
Sir, one point, sir,
And
as
sir-
far as sitting fees is concerned, one point, see, there's a very nice provision in 197.2, it says, and 197.5, they say sitting fees is not part of remuneration. So 197.1 talks about remuneration 11%, whereas sitting fees, 197.2 and 197.5, if you read, it says it is not part of remuneration. So since it is not part of remuneration, that is the professional fee that you are getting, obviously, to come and sit in the meeting. This generally will be paid to professional directors. So obviously professional directors will be contract for service, then it's okay. Sir, but generally sitting fees is not paid for the people who are generally employed, like MD, full-time director will generally be employed, but MD need not be employed also. But sitting fees is may not be paid to them, but if it is paid to them, it should be given in the articles. So sir, my understanding is that if you are salaried employee, you will anyway get this, but if extra money that they are getting at sitting fees, that is listed company, it's up to almost 1 lakh rupees, and public and other unlisted and private can give whatever they want, sir. So if they give some 5 lakh, 6 lakh sitting fee like that to a managing director, whole-time director who's an employee, but this is an extra payment. So I think that would be chargeable to GST, sir, in that case, because
Exactly,
yeah.
sir. Because, sir, as you said that being an employee, director who is an employee will not receive the sitting
Yeah.
fees, and the other director only will receive the sitting fees. And in GST, sir, section 7 subsection 1 clause A says any activity for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. See, first of all, the director being employee of the company, we will exclude him, sir. There is no GST on him. But the director who is not an employee of the company, it may be for the services that he renders, or it may be for anything that is connected to his business or profession. So it is like he is a director and he is sitting in the board meeting. So that sitting in the board meeting is in furtherance of his business, existing business. So which means that any activity for consideration in the course or furtherance of business will come under supply, and that is chargeable to GST. So naturally it may not be like remuneration, it may be even sitting fees also. So the sitting fees received by the director who is not an employee of the company will be chargeable to GST, and naturally that is payable by the company under reverse charge mechanism. When I say reverse charge mechanism, the company will be paying GST to government, because usually director has to pay GST and recover it from the company. But in this case, whatever sitting fees or remuneration that he gets, that he will pocket fully, but of course he need to pay income tax. Whereas the company has to pay the GST under reverse charge mechanism, sir.
Okay. So what the director had to pay, now the company has to pay. That's the RCM method,
Exactly.
reverse charge method.
Shift off liability.
Okay.
Shift off
Sir,
liability.
in many companies, I've also seen one thing where the director will be a person who is of good repute. His social standing will be amazing. So, sir, what he does is when the company approaches a bank, So bank will give a loan, but they'll say, I want the personal guarantee of the director, because the security of the company, assets of the company may not be so great. So it will go to the, give me a personal guarantee, like that they'll tell. Sir, many times I have observed in my consultancy, and I'm sure you also may have seen, sir. So where the director will charge a guarantee commission to the company.
Guarantee commission.
So guarantee
Correct.
commission, so you'll get some lump sum amount. Now the thing is, when, I mean, we analyze in class, there is one case law, sir, Susan Textiles and Bearings Limited. There they said guarantee commission is not remuneration. Why? Because he is not rendering any managerial, not in the managerial capacity, technical,
Correct.
professional, administrative, clerical, supervisory, nothing. It is just his social standing and the financial capability. So, sir, I think, and if my understanding is right, that is obviously not remuneration for sure. On that, will GST come, sir? On the guarantee commission?
Yes, sir. Because just now I said related to this sitting fees, right, sir?
Sir, but
In
sitting
GST,
fees, sorry to
there
interrupt,
is
sitting fees is furtherance of business. But is this also furtherance of business, sir?
Yes. Sir, this will come under, first of all, here we need to understand the meaning of business, sir. Section 2, clause 17 defines what is business. In that business, it is given trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, adventure, wager, or any other similar activity. If we take a profession, and any incidental or ancillary activity will also come under the meaning of business.
Brilliant. This definition I have never seen like this, sir.
means-
Amazing. Like this I have never seen. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct, sir. So therefore, any activity which is incidental or ancillary to their profession, but sir, in GST, you have to understand the objective of the government.
Yes.
What is the objective? They want tax at any case.
Correct.
They want tax at any
Correct,
case.
correct.
You earn money, you pay tax.
Correct.
So as simple as that. So maybe in your Companies Act, you have lot of conditions and all. But for us, very simple, sir. You receive money, you pay tax. So why you received is next.
Correct.
Why you received is
The
next.
government is
You
like a
receive, you
partner,
pay
sir.
tax.
They'll not do anything. Suddenly they'll come. They're like 18%. That's the thing. Yeah.
Correct. Now I will put it in a different way. So government, as you said, is a partner. I will say that government is a live-in relationship. Government, that is, every business person is in a live-in relationship with government.
Correct.
Because sometimes we may not pay money to wife, but to live-in relationship we have to give
Very good analogy.
importance.
Very
na?
good analogy.
We don't know when they will dump and go.
Correct, sir. Very true. Very true. Brilliant. So, in your opinion, even guarantee commission also you have to pay.
Exactly. So guarantee commission is also chargeable to GST.
Sir, that is also RCM, is it?
Fine, sir.
That is also RCM. Guarantee commission.
Yes, sir. That is also RCM because any money that a director receives from the company, because they did not define under which name they receives. It may be called as guarantee commission, it may be sitting fees, or it may be remuneration, or it may be commission also.
Okay.
Because sometimes commission also
Yes,
is paid.
yes.
So whatever name it may be, name is irrelevant. What's there in a name? Money is important.
Correct, sir. Very
So
true.
let the money be paid by the company to the director. On that, the company has to pay GST under reverse charge mechanism to government. And the company can even take that as input tax credit and adjust it with their future liabilities.
Okay,
They
okay.
can do that.
Great. I was okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it is not a loss to the company. That's what I am stressing here.
I
It's
thought,
not a loss
honestly,
to
I
the
thought
company.
that you had to pay. Now you can adjust it also.
Exactly. We can take it as credit and adjust with the liability, which is, it is like I am paying it now and I will get it as a credit and adjustment
later.
at a future.
Okay. Amazing, sir. Amazing.
So, not a loss.
Amazing. Sir, there is one more section we'll not discuss now, otherwise it will go on. But that we can put a query to the students. Guys, you can think about it. Okay. So there is one section in the Companies Act itself. 188, right? Related party transaction. In that there is one dialogue. What dialogue? Companies availing rendering service. Now the question that you need to answer, you think about it. Then sir and I also have to brainstorm, and I think we need to do one more separate thing about related party. We'll do it later. But think about it. There is one dialogue in 188.1 which says availing or rendering service. Now tell me this, think about it. The director who is rendering this services, right? So basically companies availing services. So would that be, and director is obviously a related party under Companies Act, would that also come under related party transaction? And I know related party is there in, FR, and I'm sure it's there in GST also. You guys think about it. We'll also have to,
it is
sir, it's
there.
there, na, sir,
It is
related
there.
party? It should be there, right?
It is there in GST.
It's there, GST. So,
It is there in GST. So related party transaction is there in GST. So friends, when you also think over, you try to connect the meaning of related persons in GST also versus the meaning of related persons under Companies Act. Maybe you will get some good insight. So maybe we will also brainstorm and come with the next episode related to that.
Yes.
Thank you.
sir, it was very nice, amazing. I learned so many things. Next time, sir, in next class, I will connect all these things. So when I'm talking about this, I'll tell, see,
Yes, sir,
in
me too,
GST, this
sir.
is what it is. Brilliant, brilliant analysis, sir. So thank you so much. Let's do more of this. And guys, after so many people have told, we are happy to announce that we'll also be doing a full Jugalbandi series. So Jugalbandi is actually a duet between two musicians. But now we're going to have musicians across India. So we're going to do FR, DT, IDT, everything, whatever law, whatever is possible, we'll do it, sir. This is a wonderful series. Please support, please share, right? Knowledge is power, friends. Please spread the knowledge. I am also learning a lot from Tarun, sir. So I would really like to thank you. Sir, I think we can do a virtual hi-fi.
Yeah,
sir.
the feeling is mutual.
Yes, sir.
The feeling is mutual.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Fine, sir.
Bye, sir. Take care. Thank you. We'll meet up.
Bye,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Students. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, friends.